Chapter 3. Things Get Worse. Crescent Moon Bay was a poor town, but if you could sell a whisper, it would have been the financial center of the world. And that day, in the harbor market, the whispers had just one theme: the offer Lachlan Bisbee had made the twins, and how Grayson Connor had sent him away empty-handed. The latest event only confirmed the popular belief in the twins' terrible pride and aloofness. No one in the bay could offer the twins a better second chance than the Bisbees. Strange as it may seem, it was not a jot of sympathy for the strange pair, who had always been misfits, but now seemed to have withdrawn utterly into the lighthouse that soon will cease to be their home. There was just one person besides the Bisbees who still entertained the thought of offering shelter to the Tempest twins. Even now she's turning dirty sheets inside out to make up 2 bunks for them, and emptying out a warped little cupboard to house their possessions. As she added a drop of oil to the squeaky hinge, Polly Paget smiled. In 24 hours, the twins would step through the green tall gate and enter her domain. They had left themselves with no other option. Up in the lamp room, Grayson Connor looked on the ant-like swarm of people below. "Time is running out," Grace said. Connor said nothing. "What are we going to do? Tomorrow night, the bank forecloses on Dad's loans and takes the lighthouse." Connor wasn't sure what forecloses meant, but he understood the gist. In 24 hours or so, he and Grace would be out on the streets or bedding down in Crescent Moon Bay Orphanage. Neither was an enticing prospect. "Maybe we should reconsider," Grace said at last. Connor turned his face to hers and broke his silence. "Can you imagine what our lives would be like with the Busbys? They don't want children. They want pets." Grace nodded. She shivered. She and Connor were always be free to do what they wanted, go where they wanted, think what they wanted. Their father had given them those gifts. It was a rich and rare legacy, one they would not betray. To go and live in the luxurious and suffocating realms of the Bisbees would have been a complete betrayal of everything their father stood for, everything he believed in. "Why can't we just stay here and operate the lamp like Dad did?" Connor said, unable to betray his frustration. "You heard Mr. Bisbee. He said he already taken on a new lighthouse keeper." Grace sensed their options were diminishing. "Besides, he'd probably say that it was an unsuitable job for 2 kids. "Kids," Connor spat out. "I know," Grace said. "I know. He makes out he's so caring, but you either fall in with his plans or forget it." The next day Grace was making breakfast when she heard a plump white envelope slip through the mailbox. Setting the coffee pot to one side, she picked up the envelope, which was addressed in scratchy ink: Miss Grace Tempest and Connor Tempest. Grace opened the envelope and unfolded the thick single sheet of notepaper. Seeing the name at the end, she frowned, then began scanning the words. "My dear Grace and Connor, today marks the last day of your old lives. At midnight tonight, the new lighthouse keeper will be given the keys to the lighthouse and take on the burden of lighting the lamp and watching the harbor below. There is, as my old father used to say, a kernel of goodness in the nut of misfortune. You just have to bite down hard enough to find it. For you, my dearest children, it will not be so hard to see what good is coming your way. Tomorrow marks the first day of your new lives. You will be free from the burden your father shouldered all these years. Come down from the lighthouse. Come and accept your new carefree life, such as children your age should enjoy. Some may say I am a proud man, but I am not too proud to offer you a place in my family one last time. What do you say? What do you think about it? What other options do you have? My wife and I will give you everything you would ever want from life. Just ask and it shall be yours. Meet me at the lighthouse door at midnight. Pack only a bag of memories, for we will soon be making new memories as a proper family. With open arms, Lachlan Busbee, a.k.a. Dad." Grace dropped the letter to the floor in horror and stood there as the tide of fear at last rose up over her. "What's that?" Connor asked as striding through the room, bouncing a basketball. Seeing his sister's expression, he let the ball drop, each bounce a sad echo of the last, until it rolled to a stop in the corner of the room. He picked up the letter and read it. Taking in each sugar-coated threat, finally he took the sheet of paper and tore it, scattering rough pieces over the floor like confetti. "That's a fine gesture, Con, but it doesn't change anything," Grace said. "We've run out of options, and now we've run out of time." Connor looked at his sister square in the eyes, rested his hands on her shoulders. He smiled and shook his head. "On the contrary, Gracie, you may run out of ideas, but I've got everything worked out. Now let's get some toast and peanut butter, and I'll tell you exactly what we're going to do."